Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. I would like to hold the Gold Rush Sevens doublers up and say, we're doing the Crab Cake Tour this week or next week. Honestly, I'm putting together like a whole August thing, and then into September, we're doing the Oyster Tour. We had a good time last week at Faithley's. We are back at Faithley's again in August on the Friday that the Houston Astros cheaters come to town. I'm such a feisty baseball mood here as we get into the second half and first place and the whole Yankee thing on Sunday. Our friends at the Maryland Lottery put us out on the road for the Maryland Crab Cake Tour. We shall reconvene again, and I'm lining up all sorts of cool guests, political people, business people, musicians, former athletes. I got it all going on into the late summer and into the fall. Our friends at Liberty Pure Solutions keeping my water crystal clear, as well as Jiffy Lube Multi-Care putting us out on the road. It is a weird week. Orioles aren't playing every night. The Gunnar Henderson thing, was a little bit of, disappointment on Monday night. It was fine. I'm not a home run derby guy. Tuesday night, but all I could think about on Tuesday night watching was Indians guys driving in runs and Ramirez, and they're the surprise team. And then the pitcher comes in. So they had a little bit of spice in this whole thing because they're playing good baseball too. And I have a few friends, my friend Bernard McKinney and, Andy Billman, the Believe Land guy I have on once in a while. But I get John Martin on. We don't get a chance to talk too much baseball around here. But I just want to say, how are you? You're an old schooler. I know you were watching. First things first, before we get to home run riches, any lottery related stuff, let's just be fans here. Tell me how you feel about the uniforms, and I'll mute my microphone.
The All-Star uniforms?
Yeah, the pajamas they were wearing.
Oh, it's funny because I saw it on a tweet, as the kids call it, I guess, much later. But I told my wife these look like softball uniforms.
Bad softball uniforms, not good softball uniforms, right?
Yeah, is this the end of this now? I am old school and I'm proud of it. Man, I love that you wore your uni. You danced with who brung you. I mean, you wore your uniform to the All-Star game. What is this?
My favorite part of this time of year is because people get real chippy. I shared, and they all show up, right? National League, American League, they're on the benches. They look like Bananas and Disco, Willie Stargell in all gold. And, Randy Jones and Dave Winfield were splendid. And there's McCovey there with Giants across the front in a disco stripe like I had in the Eastwood Little League. But I went back, I think I shared a 74, 3-4. It was that era because Wilbur Wood was wearing the baby blue. And I'm trying to identify every player, of the era. And, the Cleveland uniforms changed a lot in the 70s. I mean, they're definitely a little different, going from Charbonneau, let's say in 81 back to, I don't know, Steve Kern, maybe. I'm trying to think of the George Hendrick. I'm trying to think of the Thornton, right? Thornton, they wore the red, right? They wore that crazy red.
I will bring it home for you, and painfully so. Boog Powell, wearing a Cleveland red top,
76,
pants.
77.
Wow, that shouldn't be. Try to unsee that.
You knew there was a Miller Lite commercial coming in his future. I would say that, and the other thing is, anytime you see anything from the 70s, it's the American League. The first thing that jumps out are the Oakland A's. I mean, you see Reggie, you see Catfish, you see Raleigh Fingers, you see that gold,
So who do we talk to? Who do we talk to make this happen?
Well, I mean, apparently they almost do it. It's like Coke and New Coke now. They almost no. I think they know how bad it is that the commissioner's talking about it. And it's like a big thing that if they brought him back next year, because look, anytime I say this to you last year, you did your big anniversary, you brought the wishbone back. And I was like, because we all have that, that nostalgia. But then there's the game in baseball. And to bring it full circle, you're a baseball fan. I'm a baseball fan. I'm wearing my Baltimore versus everybody because that's just the mood I'm in as Lamar reports to camp and we get Luke back from vacation next week. But this is fun. Baseball pennant races and having our players be your players and my player, our players talked about more so even than the Yankee players who are a little bit of a part of the show too. But it wasn't Yankee Red Sox. There is oxygen, I think, for the rest of us in baseball.
Last week when we had this conversation, we may be the only two who remember it, and I'm not even sure you do. I foretold that the combined Cleveland-Baltimore performers would lead the American League to victory. And look at it from this perspective. Stephen Kwan scored a run. Santander scored a run. What was the margin of victory?
2 runs.
I spake it into existence.
You do the math. You do the math on it.
And you can use spake as you'd like.
That's a Cleveland word, I think.
I put it out there. And of course, the closer, Emmanuel Clase, leading the league. Bam, bam, bam. There you have it.
Cleveland and Baltimore together again. So Baltimore and Cleveland versus everyone. John Martin is here. He's the executive director of all things Maryland Lottery and Gaming. The reason we talk baseball so much is we're in the midst of home run riches. I had a chance to chat with Seth last week a little bit about the second half of this, but we're very much the game's engaged. We're having fun. Everybody's watching. We'll try to watch them hit some home runs down in Arlington all weekend long in that big blimp down there where they're having a big all-star game party. And it feels like we're going to get the all-star game here sometime soon as well. Home run riches. This is really turned into a fun promotion as the team has gotten better through the years, the last few years. It's on fire as the team hits so many home runs.
Here we are with this little break in the action. We have to date 144 Orioles home runs, 5 of those grand slams. We have paid out in prizes to contestants of the game $145,000. And current progressive jackpot, because again, the trigger for this is the Home Run Riches bases loaded $5 fast play game, where we have a progressive jackpot that continues to grow until it is hit. We are just shy of $70,000 as we speak for that top prize. And we have people just waiting for the season to resume. Matter of fact, we have Deborah Heaps of Forest Hill, who will be in the batter's box when they take on the Rangers. Robert Hasselrode of Cumberland, Maryland, going out west.
I love Cumberland. I had a beautiful time out there on the Crab Cake Tour. I really did.
And he will be there for the he's on deck in the Saturday game. And Christopher Cedeno from Pasadena.
I've been there too.
For Sunday's game. So we've got our lineup set. And you can go to mdlottery.com and see the lineup for the month of July. Let me see. Do we have August? We up and running soon. We do not have the August dates yet for the contestants, but check mdlottery.com and we'll be posting those up very, very soon.
You know, I love that it's a neighborhood game in that way, right? You throw out these names, and sometimes it's Southern Maryland, sometimes it's Chris Field, the Eastern Shore. I mean, and I've traversed the state, and I have politicians on. I'll be down at Mako next month talking about America in microcosm, whatever, because we have mountains, we have ocean, we have cities, we have all of this stuff. But you say neighborhoods, and you feel like there's some neighborhood pride in all of this. Explain the progressive again, just so everybody understands that the only person winning isn't the person that Kevin Brown talks about on the broadcast on Wednesday night.
So what happens is, for every person who purchases a $5 fast play Home Run Riches bases loaded ticket, a couple of pennies get thrown into the pot, if you will. Think of it as a virtual pot into a top tier prize. And if you don't have a winning ticket for the top tier, you may have a winning ticket for a lower tier prize. You may win $5, $10, $50. But that top prize will continue to grow as tickets are purchased until someone wins, and it will tell you right on your ticket. That's the beauty of the fast play progressive jackpot. It'll tell you right there, progressive jackpot winner. And that whether that prize is $70,000, 80, 90, 100, until it is hit, that prize pot continues to grow.
And then you have to go see John and his crew over at the Maryland Lottery building and get paid out for summer winnings. John Martin is executive director of all things lottery and gaming. We always say to folks, play responsibly, because there's going to be ads tonight for baseball and getting involved. We had the All-Star game this week. We've a lot of other things going on. Cash pop is another thing that, and this is why I love having you guys on, because I say, Tell them how to win. Tell them how to play the games because in some cases it's so simple, but in some cases it's a brand new game and people aren't at all familiar. Everybody knows pick three, pick four. They sort of know how to play Mega Millions, and certainly my wife knows how to play the big jackpot games when Powerball's up. But when you introduce a new game, part of it is the simplicity. But 1 through 15 doesn't get easier than that.
People again can go to mdlottery.com and check out all they need to about our new, relatively new cash pop game. You're right, Nestor. 4 times a day, we select a number from 1 to 15. So if you have a particular number that's a favorite of yours, you may want to wager on that number, and then you have the ability to variably set how much you want to wager: $1, $2, $5, $10. And when you make that decision, I'm going to bet number 5. I'm going to put $1 on it for the drawing that's coming up at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Then you will get on your ticket a prize value, and that will vary. So it's a variable prize a package just for you on your ticket. It may say $5. It may say $20. So if that number ends up coming through and winning at that time, you'll win the prize amount that's on your ticket. And what we have going on as well is a Cash Pop free play promotion through August 4th, where if you buy any of our other terminal games, you may win a free Quick Pick Cash Pop ticket. So a couple things going on with Cash
See,
Pop.
I like this. So
fun.
if any other, so like I'm in Costas a couple weeks from now, and I see folks playing games. If they're going to get a chance to play to sort of understand how to play the game. And the way I was with my wife in the car, and I'm trying to explain it to her, and I'm just slobbering all over myself. And I said to her, "It's a good thing I don't have to explain this. That I have John to explain this, and Seth and Doug, anybody there, because you guys really are good at explaining it." I tried to explain it in my mind, like being at the carnival and there being 15 numbers, but picking a number, but having an odd behind the number that says, if the number comes up, I'm going to win 2, 4, 6, 8. Is that a good way of explaining it to
That's
her?
a great way.
Lousy?
No, that's a perfect way. So for instance, if
Man,
you and
I was really worried, John. I mean, because
yeah.
sometimes this is a new game. I don't usually have to explain this to people. And it's hard enough when I go from Pac-Man to Gold Rush Sevens doublers, where I tell them, get the app, pull your phone out, get the app. It'll tell you everything, because sometimes I wasn't good at algebra 2. I'll admit it here, John. I'm just going to admit it.
Well, there is no math involved, Nestor. You just kind of walk up, and let's say you and I walk up to the counter at the very same time. We both have a dollar bill in our hand. We both want to bet number 5 on the next drawing. But your ticket comes back and says, if your number 5 hits, you win $10. My ticket comes back and says, if your number 5 wins, you win $5. So it's that variableness, that little extra excitement, because you could have the same wager amount, the same number you're wagering on, but you could get a different prize in return.
Okay, there you go. So that's pretty good. I mean, that's about 40 seconds. That's sound bitey, and I think I might be able to explain it again. This is where the learning part, when Dr. Martin comes in and teaches student Nestor, like 3 days from now, can I retain that? Can I repeat that or not? John Martin is here. We got winners. Okay, so I want to give you the floor on this, because this really is where it gets interesting, because there's storytelling involved. People walk into Royal Farms or Wise, and they're walking out, and I see it all the time now that we sort of talk about this together, where I'm walking out and I just see somebody walking along. They'll see the machine and say, "I want to play one," or I'm going to be somewhere. It is sort of ubiquitous, but people win all over the place. And then somebody is standing in the parking lot on a 102-degree day, scratching off, doing what I tell them to do with the app, and then it says CMD lottery, or it says big winner, or it says you just won 10 grand. This happens literally every day in the state, somewhere in some parking lot.
It can happen in Cecil County, where it did recently with a gentleman who was purchasing a scratch-off ticket and was lucky enough to win $100,000.
I said 10 grand. I was shooting low, John. That's all.
Yeah, he was playing the bingo ×10 scratch off. It just kind of caught his eye that day. You can again learn more about his wonderful story at mdlottery.com. He knew he won the prize. He wasn't quite sure how much it was. And so, as we've talked before, sometimes they scan it there and they don't believe it. They had to take it to another place. They scan it there and it gets confirmed. And sometimes they still don't believe it till they're here. And we tell them, yep, that in fact is a $100,000 top prize winner. Very happy to win. Purchase his ticket at Rural Farms. Hopefully he got a nice little chicken to go
It
on
is
the
Chicken
side with that.
Palooza month. They just sent me
Yeah.
my new T-shirt. I'm going to be wearing it probably next week when we get together.
Yeah, so he had a lot of fun doing that, playing a scratch off ticket. But you know what? He comes in all different shapes and sizes. We had an Anne Arundel man who has won for the second time, Nestor, a repeat winner. We should have a sounder for that. I don't know what it would be, but why don't you work on that? Get the boys in production to work on
Like
that
a
for us.
double ding dong
Who
bell,
knows?
something like
You and
that.
I are the double ding dongs, so don't kid
No,
yourself.
no, no, no. Come
But
on now. This isn't the Gong Show. I'm,
all
I'm
right,
trying to
all right.
think of something that would sound victorious, but
Yeah,
doubly victorious,
but
right?
right, twice as nice. Yes, exactly. Anne Arundel County man who won on pick 5 in 2022 did it again. Did it again here in 2024, and was fortunate enough to win $50,000 on his $1 pick 5 wager. So that was some
That's
fun
the thing, though.
stories.
People pick their game and they stay with their game, right? A lot
They
of
do,
times, especially if they
they do.
win.
Well, that's they're lottery players and gamblers at casinos. They're all creatures of habit. I mean, I think that's human nature. That they latch onto something and they find something that works for them, and they
I'm that
they have
guy,
some
right? If I go
success.
to a
Yeah.
casino and I was in Vegas recently for a couple days, I walked through. I don't really know how to play baccarat. There's games I don't. Pie guy poker. I see games, and I'm like, I don't. I just want to play blackjack, or I just want to play some craps. A friend of mine was teaching somebody how to play craps in the casino, but sometimes it can be a little overwhelming how to learn how to play a game, and that's why the simplicity of cash pop I think is fun. I think that's why numbers are fun in regard to the lottery. That there's all sorts of different ways to do this, but keep it fun, keep it light, and I think people, for the most part, do. And when they win $100,000, it's they barely believe it, and they have to. And sometimes you make them spin that wheel. You still spinning wheels?
We are still spinning wheels for if people are fortunate enough to play the big spin ticket and they get notification that they are in fact a big spin winner. They come on down here to world headquarters for the Maryland Lottery, and we have a
Was
big
locked
prize
up when
wheel.
I came by. I wanted to
It
see
it's
it, take a
under it
picture.
is it is under lock and key, and only comes out when it's needed. But you know what? That's a great experience. Another fun experience is when people have a second chance to win a prize, and sometimes those prizes aren't cash; they're experiential prizes. And we are in the throes of our Team USA promotion. The Olympics start the end of next week. Great stories, I'm sure, are coming out of Paris for the Olympics and the athletes themselves. But it's a pretty great story here at the Maryland Lottery when you can be one of 3 winners. One so far has already won an Olympic game trip. The choice for that winner to either go to the Milan Winter Games in 26 or the Los Angeles Summer Games in 28. We'll have the second of our 3 drawings. Deadline for that is July 22nd. So get your Mega Millions entry tickets in to My Lottery Rewards. Go to mdlottery.com for details. We'll select our second winner, and then our third and final drawing. Your entry deadline is August 12th at the end of the game. So enjoy the games. Play responsibly while you do enjoy your Mega Millions tickets, and hopefully you'll be one of our lucky winners that gets to choose between Milan and Los Angeles.
All right, before I let you get back out into the heat here, second chance, you just sort of skated by it. And I think we began this whole thing with home run riches. And I guess if my word to the wise for anybody is not just to get the app and download that, if you're really trying to win, trying to play, if you're in progressive, you really want to win a second chance. There is a second chance on everything you do. And you have to put your name in order to hear your name with Kevin Brown and Home Run Riches, and just all the way through that. I think that sometimes gets lost on people, John. I mean, I definitely see people at Costas where like they ticket, throw it on the ground, put it in the trash, and I'm like, you may be throwing away a whole lot of money, and I know you're putting the money into the machine. You want to win money, you have a chance to do this. But for some people, the tech part of it and that part of it, but that really does lead to some of the biggest of big prizes.
Well, it's a lot of fun. And again, next month we'll talk about Ravens ticket, and we launch that in the month. 2 tickets that we'll launch in August, and that's of course our huge second chance pricing. There are a lot of experiential prizes that come along with the Ravens program next month. We'll talk more about that. But yeah, please go to mdlottery.com. Like you said, Nestor, if you've already invested the $5, $10 into the ticket and it doesn't appear to be a winner, that ticket still has value. It could be a chance at another again experiential once in a lifetime prize. It could be additional cash prizes. Whatever it is, we have a variety of options for people at various levels of investment. If you just want to look at something for additional cash prizes, that's one level. If you want to kind of feeling lucky, you want to get into a drawing for a much larger prize, all those options at mdlottery.com.
All right, so good. I don't say that real often. Don't throw those tickets away. Make sure you're using them. John Martin is here. He will be there. He is on the front of WNST's beautiful website at BaltimorePositive.com. You can check that out each and every week. And we'll get back to good guys, bad guys, one division, other division, Cleveland versus Baltimore, but it's going to be a fun summer ahead for baseball and for football in both communities as we're having a good time around here with all my friends. Even my Pittsburgh friends think their football team's going to be okay, and we're real pleased with this young pitcher and thinking good thoughts. So it's been a fun summer for everybody. Just got to make sure we beat the Yankees and the Red Sox up here. John Martin will join us again next week. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore baseball, Baltimore sports, and Baltimore positive.